Everybody, good morning. Goose, Rosalind, Rex, Sergio, Leah, Andreas, Arturo, wait, Donald. From Hangovers to Happiness, don't recognize that name, but welcome to the stream. Dan, Valerie, Brian, Robert, Francois, Dan, Dave, Nancy, Craig, Laura, Svenborn, all the way from Iceland. Good to see you. Joseph Zub, long time listener, first time caller. No, just joking. Good to have you as always. War Dog, Sarah Lynn, Rob, Cliff, Nina, Wrongimer, get to work, my man. Got to keep those numbers up. Ted, David, Rick, Merle, David, David, Jan, Carmen, don't recognize your name, but welcome to the stream. Dawn, Carlene, Jason, and if you want to join in on the stream, chat with all these fine people, click right over here, the button to be a subscriber on the channel. And my favorite subscriber, Kimberly, in the house, right there. 21 years today, right there with Kimberly. And General Rush, good to see you, sir. Nikki, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Something on my glasses. What the like sparkles when I look up. See if I can get that off there. There we go. Better. Not all clear, but better. Anyway, yeah. 21 years today. Anyway, she put up with me and my crap for that long, and look at what we've done. Look at what we've done. You're all part of it. All part of it. So, anyway, how's it going, everybody? Couldn't pick a better person, I don't think. Supports everything, all my crazy ideas. So, welcome. All right, moving on. And don't want to just sit here and watch all the messages fly by. So, Microsoft earnings today. That is interesting, I think. I don't know about you. And looking at the 30 minutes, maybe we've got a little lower to go, possibly. I don't know. We're getting a little bit of reprieve here coming into the open. Now, maybe, possibly, that was enough to call it a bounce. Maybe. I don't know. This is not the most clear that we could have, I guess you might say. Now, we may see a dip and rip on earnings. The 475 area would be the upside. The downside right here, 412. But here's the crux of the issue. If that doesn't hold, where could we drop to? Ooh, that's a bigger question. That's kind of a little more scary here. If Microsoft was to not hold that, this could be the target right in here. Right there. Maybe like, no effing way. I would be very, very cautious on that right there. All right. And look right here. We haven't been down here in a long time. And this may be, look, see where we hit this back here? Haven't been there in a long time. Over 20 years. Over 10 years. 13 years. 13 years since we were at the monthly. Oh boy. That could result in a nice big fat retrace right there. Nice big fat one. Watch out. So, if and when Microsoft starts breaking down, it's going to be a long correction when it finally embarks upon that. Now, I don't necessarily think that's what's going to happen today. Just throwing it out there. The possibilities. Now, this not holding could result in this in the next few months. And we were just down there in September. All right. So be careful here. All right. I mean, you can say it's a head and shoulders any way you want right there. I mean, they show up all the time, but they don't always work out. Like that one, head, shoulder, came down, and then you get the reversal. Head and shoulders patterns are just reversals in the market, potential reversals, and they don't always pan out. You say right now we've got like a shoulder, head. We need a shoulder over here before we broke. I don't know. We can say it either way. Right now, I wouldn't bet on, I'm not betting on Microsoft earnings for me. All right, I was pretty confident on Tesla. Not as confident here. We didn't hit that. Now, Meta later in the week, like tomorrow after the close. Look at that. That hit, moving up, and it may just launch out to the target. Now, AMD also reporting earnings after the close today, and guess what? That I might buy a put just to see if I can get lucky. I mean, it broke lower, stayed down there. I mean, it could save it here, but not good right there. I've had this area down here since probably March, maybe even before that. We just incrementally changed it just a little bit because as we ground higher, well, moving the wrong fib line at this point. That's awesome. Awesome sauce. As we inched higher here, everything we made a higher high, every time we made a higher high from here, basically was just an extension. We've topped it out right here, and that kind of set this area for now. A correction back there would be normal, and this would be 5 up and a 3-wave retrace, and we've got the first wave down, the retrace, and easily set the 3rd wave right here. And we bounced at the perfect proportions. Look at one little extra piece here. 1, 2, 3 dots. Puts it right in the zone. 116, 102, 87. Like, that's all classic proportions for the 3rd move on a correction. If you're new here, you may not understand what I'm talking about, but this is basically like an echo of a correction. Corrections typically happen in 3 moves, all right? It's Elliott wave theory. Impulses typically happen in 5-wave, well, they do happen in 5-wave moves. And corrections happen in 3-wave moves. Now, as part of that 5-wave move of the bigger picture, the corrections that occur on 2 and 4 are typically 3-wave moves or combinations of 3-wave moves. And they're corrections. So we have right here the first move down. Then we have a retrace, which is also a 3-wave move, a correction of the correction right there. 1, 2, 3, right up into that high that held the 618 level. And then we project down for an echo, if you will, a repeat of the first move, but it can sometimes extend to the 1272, very common, or even the 1618 when we get extra flush out. And that all puts it right on the move. Like, this would be the 5-wave up right here. This would be the 3-wave retrace, and then that would set us up. If, like, I really want to see this come down here, because then we're set up for that potential move right there. Absolutely crazy, right? 1, 2, 3. And if that's bullish, which it probably is, we're talking about 900 on AMD as the next target. And that could be a long ways out. All right, we're not talking like, I mean, look at the slope on that one. We typically go a little faster slope on the wave 3, but it could go at that same kind of slope right here. So we could be talking more like that kind of thing off of that. So we could be talking out here late 26, 27 even, before we got up in that zone. If we're going to be bullish. Right now, it also could break down, not hold this, not turn higher, and go even lower. So that's the way I figured out with the fibs. All right. And not everybody believes in that stuff, but ask a few people in the chat. I tend to get it right quite often. Crazy, seemingly unpredictable moves, and I get it right. I get lucky a lot. So anyway, welcome to the show. And then we got 2 more things to talk about before we jump into our normal conversation here. Bank of America, seeing Warren Buffett drop a bunch. That may be indicative of some storm clouds on the horizon. That Warren Buffett's not seeing giant opportunity in Bank of America anymore. Cautionary tale right there. And then this one right here, I had some questions. Why did it drop like 10%? While Bitcoin's not doing that. You see that right there? Got to go to the pre-market. It's not a crash. It's not an anomaly. What they did was they had a filing that said they're going to take 10% of their fund and put it into a mini. They're going to fund a mini BTC trust, or what do you call it? Spot ETF. Fund the spot with 10% of this fund. So they're going to take 10% off and go fund the other. So this dropped about 10% right there. Imagine that. And then people didn't like that idea. So, and then we're also getting Bitcoin pull back just a little bit. So there you go. You never know what they're going to do. This has seen about $100 million of Bitcoin outflows every single day since it became a spot ETF back in January. Just crazy. It's crazy. Crazy numbers to me. Anyway, so I just want to address that real quick before we jump into it. That's not indicating that Bitcoin's going down. That's just something they're messing around with the numbers in the background. So anyway, jumping over here real quickly. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I get predictions right and I've done it in the past doesn't ever mean I will ever get another one right again. Nothing I do may ever work again. It'd be a bummer, but it may not. All right. I'm no visionary. I mean, I just have a bag of unicorn dust. I don't have a magic crystal ball or anything like that. No magic wand to sprinkle dinkle juice on the market. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining, not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. No stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. If you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor. And here we go. This is this week right here with the FOMC coming up tomorrow, right there. Tomorrow, Wednesday, July 31st, last day of July, and we got the fireworks right there. Watch out for that. Watch out. If you're a trader, if you're day trading, swing trading, watch out for crazy shiz to go down tomorrow, right there. I think they're going to firm up the potential cut in September, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I think they're going to firm that up in their rhetoric. May goose the market higher. And then it sets us up to potentially drop in September. So be careful. Be careful is because that's going to be a market moving event. And we also have some pending home sales coming out in the morning and employment cost index right there for the market tomorrow. Today, well, benign day. We have consumer confidence and jolt jobs coming out at 10. And that's kind of what we got. All right, we got the big earnings, Microsoft, AMD, a variety of other ones, which I could pull over and show you instead of just say it. Right here, we've got a variety of others. AMD, we've got Starbucks, Arista, Pinterest, First Solar, Caesars, Lemonade, Electric Arts. Tomorrow we got Boeing, Norwegian, Wingstop, Heinz. We got some ketchup coming reporting earnings. Altura, Humana, Chemico, Generac, MasterCard, Tiva, all coming in tomorrow morning. Then we get the FOMC in the middle of the day, and we have Meta, ARM, Qualcomm, Carvana, Lam. And depending on what happens with the FOMC, it's kind of interesting. If the FOMC starts launching because of the rate cut rhetoric, could take Meta higher on earnings. It's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting when you think about it. Anyway, then we have Amazon and Apple, Intel, Coinbase, DraftKings coming in on Thursday after the close. And there you go. All right. So any questions, you can let me know in the chat. I do take requests at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays, which today is Tuesday. So I have a request show live, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesdays. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell with the notifications, or go set an alert in your phone right there so you know that I'm doing it. And I've got alerts coming out in Discord. The team's been posting them in Telegram. So I'll try to get you a reminder out. And if you're in none of those places, just make sure you're subscribed down below. Like click the button down there. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notifications, the little bell doodad with the doodads right there. Say all notifications. You're like, hey, I want to get all the notifications. And if YouTube thinks you'll watch it, it'll give you some notifications. Looks like the market is blasting off today already. Are we ripping? Are we dipping? Looks like we're getting a little bit more green here today. And this is interesting here. So one of the things I see very clearly is a divergence between S&P 500 and NQ, which is NASDAQ. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 not overlapping. We have not invalidated the drop yet. We need to move up through that 5550 area, kind of start to invalidate the further decline. So at this point, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We could get a 5 down. NQ over here, interesting, already has kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're consolidating here. A little bit of divergence between the two. Now you could be like, well, why didn't this one count? Well, it's not proportionally the same size as the rest of these over here. And maybe, just maybe, that was 5 down. We could get a 3 up and get continuation. I mean, that could possibly be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it just doesn't look right on S&P. Now, right here in Q, looks a lot more like 5 down. Very cautious. If we hold this area right here on any kind of pop, FOMC or otherwise, it could be indicative of a bigger down, and that's why we have the arrow down here. All right, be careful. Now, if the S&P breaks above this zone, this is the resistance right here. We clear that. We're probably set the stage for 58, possibly 5,900, 5,800, 5,900 right there. And that's kind of the long and the short of it. The short of it, down here. Right now, 5,100 is the support area on the daily roadmap line. Right there. If we break down. So this over here, I in the day after we gapped up over here, I said we were probably going to come down and fill that gap. And there we did, right there. Now, do we go lower? I don't know. But I did expect that gap fill. We did it on NQ over here. We did it plus a lot of extra. If you look at this right here, we filled that gap plus some gusto, a little extra. I don't know. NQ is a lot closer to touching this area right here around 18.2. This roadmap line right here on the daily chart. And if you're like, this roadmap line you keep talking about, like how does it work? Why is it what it is? I got a link in the description. It's like $5. And if you just don't want to pay $5, well, check it out. You can go to my homepage after we're done here, click on my name, go back to the homepage on my YouTube homepage, my channel homepage, and I have a video that's like my favorite indicator. Guess what? My favorite indicator is the roadmap line. And I give you the code and everything for free right there in the video. It's not like an easy button. It's a DIY thing. You got to type in some code and stuff. If that's not for you, I got an easy button right in here in the description. You can just click it and get it. And I give you like a watch list. And you know what? You stick around to the end. I have 2 trades with entries today, right? Bonus trades right at the end of this, down here at the bottom. So I'll show those off before we wrap up. Stick around to the end. RTY. This looks like it's probably going to pop right up here. If this doesn't pop and misses the chance there, it's going to be kind of a bummer. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. I would expect it one little pop up. The one was very weak here, so the 5 is probably going to be also pretty weak. CL, Still consolidating, trying to break down. If we get that close in here today, remember what I said, we get that close below that box, probably going to flush on down and sets the stage to go down to the mid 60s right here. Lower low than what we had right back here. We'll find first level support at this prior low, next support down in here, and then may ultimately touch this target down here. It's setting the stage. If we don't just reverse it right now, today, especially if we push down in here in the 74.50 area, probably coming on down. And I don't know why my phone is not muted. So, love it. Love it. All right. Love it. All right. GC. Contract rollover. Right there. Be careful. That is not GC popping. That's a contract rollover. Might take that back out. All right. I usually cover silver on the evening show. Let's just look at that real quickly. Silver, look at what we did. Look at what we did. Watch for a potential mega move on silver here. We did a 3-wave corrective right to the proportional and hit the roadmap line. Dun, 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 dun. That right there sets us right up for 33, 34 on the next move. Then that can take us even higher, even higher. Right here, we are set up, primed and ready for this move right in here. Now, you may be like, well, how do I know it's going to go up there? Break through this 618 breakout level right here. This prior consolidation. Get above that. Right there. And this can lead to a much bigger potential right here. Much, much bigger potential. Talking about mega levels here. Mega levels. Draw this on here. Nope. Wrong tool. Need that tool. 1, 2, 3. We talking about 35, 40, 47, 60. Could be some crazy stuff. And if we put it in log mode, look at this. 45, 50, 80. Ooh, baby. Could be a wild ride right there. And does it have to do it? Heck no. 35 has been my target for quite a while. And this could take, this might take out to 2030 to get up here. Could take a while. So it's not necessarily going to do that fast. It may take a while. BTC right here. Let's just go to the spot market chart. BTC USD. And yeah, Kevin, you can request ASML tonight at 5 p.m. It doesn't have earnings today, so I was just looking at stuff today, basically. And ASML is not a Mag 7 stock. So BTC USD retracing a little bit, having a lot of trouble breaking through that resistance. We formed this resistance starting from back in early March. It's been resistance, 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 resistance. Guess what? It's still resistance here in July. And until we can get through it, it's going to still be resistance. Now, I do expect 77 or 80, possibly even 89 on the next move before the next consolidation. But we got to get through this resistance first. Got to break out to new highs to get up to those levels. Ethereum continues to consolidate, has not broken above the high from back here in July, which is above the 618. BTC already did that. We already broke above that 618. We've set the odds. We're probably going higher. 75, 77, 80, right up there. Ethereum hasn't done that yet. Hasn't done it yet. We made the low, come up, rejected, made the higher low. We need to break on out, and that'll probably set the stage to go higher. 45, possibly 52, right there on Ethereum. Dollar just keeps mucking it up here. And it's gonna this is gonna make this really muddy, but still probably bias down with a set of lower highs off of the high back here in 2022. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Set the stage for going lower. That target down here around the mid-90s. Microsoft, we've already touched on. All those right there. FFIV. This is a gainer, but at the same time, that high, that low, we're up right near the target at 203. Not sure I expect much more out of that move right there. Could have been a purchase right back there. Let's see if Apollo would not have bought right there. Took too long. People were like, well, and it might have picked up that one. ASML. Yeah, there you go. It was on the poppers list and still under the roadmap line and set for going lower. SFM, Sprouts Farmers Markets. Nice pop. That's getting to be exponential. Be careful. Lily coming down, probably back to the roadmap line. They get tired after a while. It was running. We're in the potential for a support zone, but we're kind of getting above these long-term lows in the chart, and that may be indicative that we're going on down. If you look at the lows, kind of right there. Set the highs over here. We were running this channel, and now we're getting below it. Roadmap line, if we don't hold that, well, we can correct a giant move. That was one heck of a run we've done without any kind of big correction. This one could come back pretty violently right here. We definitely keep an eye out on that one. If I was long, know where you're wrong. If you've recently bought in, maybe back here, you missed your chance to get out up here. I would definitely set a level where you know you're wrong. Don't be doubling down, being like Lily's going up forever. Don't do that. Know where you're wrong. All right. It's not staying wrong. I mean, it is staying wrong. It's not being wrong that costs you the money. It's staying wrong. All right. Being wrong in the market, you can be wrong. Like I think Lily's going up to 1,000 and bought in here, and guess what? It's coming back. If it starts breaking down below that, guess what? You're wrong. All right. Just take your lump, get out. No, staying wrong, doubling down. You're like, well, it's certainly not going below 720. I'm going to double down. And then next thing you know, it's down at 600. And you're like, well, I'm going to double down again. So now you're like quadrupled down, and then it drops on down to 500. Now you're staring at like a massive loss. Don't do that stuff. All right. I know traders all the time talk to me like, just double down, dollar cost average, blah, 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 blah. Unless you started the trade with some kind of intention to dollar cost average, in which case, why did you buy into a losing trade? Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like, if you knew it was going to go lower, why didn't you just wait for it to go lower? Are you that impatient? Now, sometimes there's trades like SVXY where I may buy a starter position just to be able to track it or keep it on my radar, and then buy a bigger position when we do the thing I expect to do. So there are certain trades and where I will average in, and I buy with the intention of getting more. But there's not always that opportunity that it goes lower. So you got to be careful. Like it's not a universal, like there are some opportunities where this one tends to drop 10% pretty regularly. When it drops 15 to 20%, it usually takes it right back in the next 45 to 60 days. Look, I mean, every time it's happened since COVID here, we've done it like 15 times. Like every time we drop 15 to 20%, we come right back. Right back. That's every little volatility spike in VIX right there. Every time we get one of these spikes, guess what? VIX tends to drop right back down. Look, see how it goes? That's where those Dips occur in SVXY because SVXY is short the VIX. Short VIX right there. You see it right there? Short VIX. So when VIX pops, this thing drops. Think about that. So when VIX pops, SVXY drops. Okay, so we know that VIX doesn't stay high for very long before it comes right back down because we looked at the chart, right? We looked at this chart. It doesn't stay high very long, maybe a couple weeks, and then it comes back down. So it presents an opportunity on something SVXY, like SVXY, that's short VIX, that is going to pop right back up the majority of the time when we get some kind of pullback. And usually when we hit the roadmap line, we go ripping right back up. Happens over and over and over. Sometimes it chops a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't make a higher high. Like that right there. Lower high, lower high, lower high. But then it takes off. So you got to be able to weather a longer term period like that. But it comes up back in the vicinity of the prior high almost every time. And then many times it goes on a run making higher highs. Sometimes it's significantly higher highs. So my target right now up here. And HWM. Popping up there. Did we have any opportunity for anything? Maybe on a 1 hour? Maybe on a 4 hour? A little bit shy. And a little bit muddy. Nah, not really. Not really any opportunity there. And it's just being crazy. So that one just launching to the moon right there. ITW. Sometimes they don't follow my pattern and then, give you no opportunity for high probability trade. Tool works here, that high, that low. Gonna have to have a close above that 256 to get 277, and maybe the volatility is a little rough. I don't know. Not the best opportunity, not the best looking chart, not the best opportunity. Stanley Black & Decker, lower highs coming across. The consumer, if you didn't know, is not being super strong right now. We broke out above that. I would be cautious. This could be a first move up, a retrace, and a third move up. Consumer has not been super strong. Held that, pop up. If we turn down at 113 or 126, watch out for this lower low here. Looks like we could be heading right up into this area right here for now. It's not very high probability. So if you happen to be in this and you're like, well, not sure, I may want to liquidate or book some profits, those would be good spots to consider it, or at least protect it or bring up your stop or something like that. AMT, American Tower, Real Estate Investment Trust. Now this one's crazy. Look at this thing, pays a pittance, 3% right here. And I paid even $1.31, $1.62. So it paid even less when we were up here. The higher this rallies, the lower that dividend is. It's people park money here, but that's so far just a three-wave move. Be very cautious here on expecting continuation. We could top out at 237 to 259 and then see this turn down again. VRNS. Oh, look at that pop. Wow. What a pop. That high, that low, right up into the targets. Possibly could extend up to 61. PayPal. Nice pop. Nice pop. Trying to save it here. Could save it. Been very, very cautious. Now I did buy a position back here. Sitting in it upside down. And we need to see it close above that 65 area to indicate we're going to go cruising on up here. 72, 74, and 80 up here. I did take an aggressive entry. And actually I took an aggressive entry back here on this first move. Been sitting upside down for a little while. Waiting. Still think it's potential reversal here because it hasn't broken down this cautionary zone here. Still waiting. FNGU, that's why I bought time on that one. FNGU looking for that to drop on down. And that may do that if Microsoft pulls back a little bit after hours on the earnings. NVO, the other GLP-1 drugs, hitting the roadmap line. A little bit ahead of Lilly. Could see that fill that gap right up there. Set the stage to go higher. 151 went to 54, right up there. Cold continues to try to push higher. May see this rally up to 100 and push natural gas lower. I'll look at natural gas tonight at 5 p.m. HLIT, nice little pop. The chart is nasty. That big gap down over here. Right like that. And I stopped the chat a minute ago. There we go. All right. INCY. Goose, sometimes what I say just seems so personal. While I am talking to certain people, if it applies to you, well, it's not necessarily I'm talking to you. But I am at the same time, you know? Like, there are people that do these sort of things where you double down, you buy again. You're like, hey, I'm gonna dollar cost average all the way down. This thing in kind of an expanding wedge and unreliable. Could we find a bottom in here? We could. It's not very reliable pattern right there. IMNN. And that looks like a horrible chart despite this pop up here. That's a biotech for you. One of the big things, there's 4 main things that don't follow my patterns. One of those being biotech, anything the FDA is involved in, which includes pharmaceuticals and medtech and all that sort of stuff. Food and Drug Administration of the United States. Number 2, low price stuff under $10. That's equities, not cryptos or treasuries or none of that sort of thing. All right, no futures. Like, we're just talking about equities, stocks. And number 4 is leverage stuff. Leverage stuff sometimes clears up the pattern for the underlying, but sometimes it just doesn't do what it's supposed to do at all. And then if you combine any 2 of these things, like leverage and biotech, ugh. And then the 4th thing is China stuff. All right, so be careful. They have a different moral compass, I might say, on what's lying and what's not telling the truth, and their accounting requirements are different. Now, Square right here is pushing below these lows, and this has got the caution lights flashing. We can see this dip down here to the 30s very quickly. LDOS, that's just kind of at the extension there. We could go up to 183. Not so sure. Now, stuff that was declining. QXO. Wow. Got smacked right there. Whew. That's why you got to be careful on some of these. That move right there. 1, 2. Put it right in the target. Remember that 3-wave pattern I was talking about at the beginning? Reflected right down off of there. And we got the little extension. Right down in there. And be careful on those things. Be careful. 1, 2, 3. And here was your warning right there. We stopped right at the 618. Turned down. And then we get slammed down. This has been a reverse split. This is like all the makings of a dumpster fire in the making right here. Earnings coming up next week. Or week after. Next week. WWD. Whew. That one getting slammed right there. Woodward. Back to the roadmap line. If we can hold it, that can be bullish. That's one to keep an eye on right there. Back through the gap fill. Could take it to 193, 199. DE. Rejecting the roadmap line. That's just not being super bullish any way you cut it. Finding a lot of resistance right there. Lot of resistance right there. Trying to get through, has not been able to do it. And it's just been sideways consolidating for almost 2 years now. Almost 3 years now. 4 years now? 5 years? Oh, man. That's a lot of sideways chop in a large range. CRWD. Hasn't saved it yet. But my target zone right there, if we don't hold that zone, watch out for the deeper retrace to take hold. DEO. Not been a buyer of CrowdStrike yet. DEO. Looks like we're breaking on down. Didn't hold that. Could flush on down to 100 down here. Possibly even go on an extension down to the 90, 80, 90 area down here. PG. Right back to the roadmap line. Beautiful move. Right there. Stopped at the 1618. Hit its head, 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 and retraced. Beautiful. Right there. This now sets up the potential. Although I dislike the fact it left a giant gap from that high right there yesterday to right there. 172, if we can get a daily close back above the 166 area right up here. LSCC. Cruising on lower. Right down to the targets on the downside. Yeah. Oh, could go a little lower. A little lower, 45. Possibly even down to 34. SYM. Target's down there, and we're pushing it down. It's watermelon seed squeeze. Breakdown. Right down there would be my expectation, although I did have a target right there that we're just scraping the top of. Could reverse here. Could indeed. AGCO. That one also, another one of those exact same patterns that I just had up. Right there, right there. Could be looking for a deeper flush to right down here. Watch out for that rip down right there. MRK. Pushing down. This may be heading on down back to this zone right over here. That low, that high. Yep. Right in that zone would be where I expect. Rambus is not being very bullish. That's the same 3-wave move. There, right there, right there. The target being right down here. For retrace. GLW, Corning, target right down here at 36 on the retrace. And then we can talk about a bounce potential, getting cooking, to fill that gap and take it higher again. Invax, here's the bonuses. Invax probably coming on down, and that is a biotech. ARM, probably coming on down. That one kind of did head and shoulders. First stop, roadmap line. Next stop, down here. Don't stay wrong on ARM. FedEx buy. Let's go check that out really quick. I don't like it. Not going to take that one. GIS. Oh. Let's see what we got. So check it out right here. That actually came off of, not that high, but this high right here. It's been a long consolidation. We closed above the 618 yesterday, right there. Target right here at 70. Doesn't require a higher high. And you may be like, well, I don't know. I don't know about that pattern right there, JT. I'm just not sure. Check it out over here. Let me pull this something up for you. Show you a little something special here. Look at this. 70.25. Stop below 61. Win rate is 86% of the time. Profit factor 2.04. And last about 75 days on average. With 51 trades since 1968. So 86% of the time, we're likely to go higher there. And yeah, right there. Pick it up right in there. Now, you could be like, well, I don't like that one. I like these higher highs over here. Well, you can wait for that to fire off and then go for the bigger target up here, potentially. Right up on up in here. Now, that's why it's a bonus idea right there. Bonus potential trade idea. I may actually get into that after I get off here. Then the other one, KDP, Keurig Dr. Pepper. Right here. Check this one out. Beautiful retrace right here. Beautiful. Classic. Closed above yesterday. Why not the red one? Because it actually closed down here. It requires a close above the 618, which happened yesterday. Get a little retrace yesterday. A little better price. 35 the target up here. And you may be like, well, what about the statistics on this one? So I did bring that one too. So you get 2 bonuses today. 2 bonuses today for hanging out to the end. And 35.46. 83% of the time we've done this. Right there. Usually takes about 49 days on average to do that. To get from the pink line up to the green line. All right. That's from the pink line up to the purple line on here. Possibly the green line. There you go. 49 days on average. Have a great day. We're going to hit the expectation for the day before I wrap it up. And if anything I said was helpful, beneficial, all that stuff, give me a like on the video. Share with somebody if you think they may like it. So here's the zone. We didn't really talk about that. We talked about it yesterday. We either got to break above here, then watch out for the resistance here. So my levels on, I like to watch this more closely because it's a little more clear for me. So my levels here, right here, same as yesterday. If we get below these lows, probably cruising on down. Get above this zone right here, back above that 55.50 area, probably going to retest at least this 5,600 area, if not breaking out and cruising on higher to higher highs. Do I expect much to happen today in front of the FOMC tomorrow? No, we may just hang out here and chop around, try to break out, maybe come test the bottom. Could be some volatility. Don't really expect a lot today and tomorrow through FOMC. We just don't tend to move the market very big while we're waiting to hear what the Fed's going to say next. It just, it's not that the Fed sets the direction at all. And if you think they do, hate to break it to you, but the market likes to wait. We don't like to make major moves. Big money doesn't move in front of the FOMC. It moves after the FOMC. So the tip of the hand right now is that we might get a pop. We might. We also might dip and rip. We may dip, make a lower low, and then go popping. I think either scenario, we're probably going to pop as the net result. I think this correction is probably nearing the completion here. And we left the top unfinished. Left some unfinished business at the top. A lot of charts have pulled back to the roadmap line and set up for a bounce. So I think even if we do get a lower low, even if Microsoft takes us down tonight, we could see a pop on FOMC. All right. It's kind of my bias going into FOMC. And I'll see you tomorrow. Or actually, I'll see you tonight at 5 p.m. Forgetting what day it is. 5 p.m. I'll be back live. We'll cover Microsoft and AMD as they come out. And then we'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:15. Same bat time, same bat channel. Doing this same thing over again. Have a great day, everybody.